Good day to each and everyone. I am Sanimi and Pamaong of BSHM3A, and today I'm going to discuss the laws regulating accommodation establishment in Chapter 8. We all know that hotels nowadays simulate the ambience of a home away from home. Thus, it should be clean, comfortable, punctual, and safe. From former manager from Hyatt Regency in Manila. So, for our learning objectives, we should identify the laws affecting the accommodation sector, identify the rights of hotel guests, and explain how quality and safety standards are maintained by hotels and similar establishments by meeting minimum requirements of the law. And for our topic outline, is we have the introduction, the nature and descriptions of the business, resorts or motorist hotel or motel, responsibilities of accommodation establishment, National Building Code of the Philippines, building permits, general requirements on building by use or occupancy, light and ventilation, and sanitation and general design and constructions requirement. We also had registrations of guests and occupants and waste management, security and safety, and the conclusion. So we have the Philippine Medium-Term Development Plan 2001-04 identifies the tourism sector as one of the bulbar industries that will pole vault the economy. The results of the study on the effects of the competitiveness of the Philippines tourism revealed that the Philippine tourism industry needs to improve its competitiveness, catch up with its neighboring countries. Tourism competitiveness is defined as the ability of its destination to deliver goods and services, to perform better than other destinations. The host aspect of the tourism experience coincides that perform important by tourists. In assessing the state of competitiveness of the Philippine tourism or the Asian neighbors, the studies utilize the result of the ranking MEDS by World Travel Competitiveness, Human Tourism, Infrastructure, Environment, Technology, Openness, and Social Human Resources. So, of the 8 criteria, the Philippines only got the highest rank in human resources development, which indicate the high quality of its human resources, second in terms of price competitiveness, and third in infrastructure. The price competitiveness criteria uses data of cost of travel, accommodation, goods and services, exchange rate, and purchasing power parity. The infrastructure criteria refers to the accessibility and availability of roads, railways, and sanitation facilities. So this shows that aside from the 8 criteria, there are other factors which tourists consider in deciding to visit a country, such as known and perceived peace and order situation in a country of destination, improving the industry's competitiveness, therefore also depends on ensuring the tourist's personal security. There is a clear indication of the steadily increasing number of tourist arrivals in the Philippines. That is why the Department of Tourism reiterated the need to construct 20,000 more hotels rooms to accommodate the target of 5 million tourists by 2010. There has been a marked increase average hotel room occupancies, particularly in Metro Manila. Deluxe hotels reached between 2003 and 2007 as reported by the Department of Tourism. So this confirms the major role accommodation establishments play in boosting the tourism industry. So this chapter will deal with the different laws regulating different accommodation establishments, basic provisions of the National Building Code of the Philippines, and its supporting laws, including rules on security and registration of guests and occupants, have also been incorporated in this chapter. We have the nature and description of the business. So we have the law. Business entities engaged in the operation of tourist accommodations establishments may be organized as a single proprietorship, a partnership, or a corporation. We have a hotel a building, edifice, or premises, or a completely independent part thereof, which is used for the regular receptions, accommodations, or lodging of the travelers and tourists, and the provisions of services incidental theretofore a free. We also have resort, any place or places with pleasant environment and atmosphere conducive to comfort, helpful relaxations and rest, offering food, sleeping accommodations, and recreational facilities to the public for a free or remunerations. We have tourist inn, a lodging establishment catering to transients which does not meet the minimum requirements of an economy hotel. We have the apartel, any building or edifice containing several independent and furnished or semi-furnished apartments, regularly leased to tourists and travelers, for dwelling on a more or less long-term basis and offering basic services to its tenants, similar to hotels. So this type of accommodation is sometimes called service apartments. We have the pension house. It is a private or family operated tourist boarding house, tourist guest house, or tourist lodging house employing non-professional domestic helpers, regularly catering tourists and travelers, containing several independent lettable rooms, providing room facilities such as toilets, bathrooms, showers, living and dining rooms and or kitchen, and where combinations of board and lodging may be provided. We have the motorist hotel or motel, any structure with several separate units primarily located along the highway with individual or common parking space at which motorists may obtain lodging and, in some instances, meals. We have the discussion of the law. So we have here the hotel. Hotels are hereby classified into the following categories, namely deluxe class, previously known as 5-star category. We have first class, previously known as 4-star category. The standard class, previously known as 3-star category. And the economy class, previously known as 2-star category. So the classifications of hotels based on a number of criteria such as we have here the location, the bedroom facilities and furnishing with emphasize on dimensions, front office or the reception service, the housekeeping standards, food and beverage service, recreational facilities such as swimming pool, golf, squash, gym facilities. We have the engineering and maintenance, service and staff, general facilities such as roof, garden, spacious common terrace, parking space and valet service, conference room, banquet hall, barber shop, the hotel accredited travel agency, beauty parlor, sandwich shop, security and medical clinic. And we also have special facilities such as limousine service, business center, and airport transfers. So we also have here the resort. Resort may be categorized as beach resort located along the seashore, inland resort located within the town proper or city, island resort located in natural or man-made island within the internal waters of the Philippine archipelago, lakeside or riverside resort located along or near the bank of a lake or river, and mountain resort located at a near a mountain or hill, and theme parks. So resorts shall be classified as follows. We also have the Class AAA, Class AA, and Class A. Special interest resort. So resort in the Philippines are classified into four categories. So for the Class AAA resorts, there are the most luxurious and upscale resorts offering a wide range of amenities and services. They often feature multiple dining options, extensive recreational facilities, and personal service. For the Class AA resorts, these resorts are considered a high quality and provide a comfortable experience with a good selections of amenities and services. They may have fewer dining options or recreational facilities compared to Class AAA resorts. So we also have the Class A resort. This resort offers a standard level of comfort and amenities suitable for budget-conscious travelers. They, ha- they may have basic recreational facilities and limited dining options. So, in this special interest resort, this resort cater to specific interests or activities such as golfing, diving, or cultural experiences. They may offer specialized facilities and services tailored to the specific interests. So we have the classifications of resort is based on we have the locations and environment, parking, facilities in a room, accommodation, the public washroom, the sports and recreational facilities, conference or convention facilities. We have the employee facilities, the lounge and reception counter, and lighting furnishings or ventilations. So resort classification is important because it helps guests understand what to expect and choose the right resort for their needs. Here how each factors contributes. So the locations and environment determines the overall experience including proximity to attractions, natural beauty and peacefulness. So the parking ensures convenient access and safety for guests arriving by car. The facilities and room accommodations reflects the level of comfort, amenities and services offered. The public washroom ensure hygiene and cleanliness for all guests. The sports and recreational facilities provide opportunities for leisure and entertainment. The conference and convention facilities cater to business travelers and events. Employee facilities support staff well-being and efficiency. The lounge and reception counter create a welcoming atmosphere and provide essential services. The lighting, furnishings, or ventilations contribute to the ambience and comfort for the resort. We have the rules on operating and management of resort. We have the sanitations measures shall be adopted in accordance with the standard prescribed under PD 856 Code in Sanitations of the Philippines. All resorts shall provide the services of a sufficient number of well-trained lifeguards, duly accredited by either the Philippine National Red Cross, the Water Life-Saving Associations of the Philippines, or any recognized organization training or promoting safety objectives and adequate security whenever there are guests. We also have all resorts shall provide the services of a physician, either on call or full-time basis, depending on their volume of operations and accessibility to hospital and medical centers. In addition, resorts shall employ adequate first aiders who have completed a course in first aid duly certified by the National Red Cross or any organizations accredited by the same. Adequate first aid medicines and necessary life-saving equipment shall be provided within the premises. There shall be placed on a beach or lakeside resort an adequate number of buoys, which shall be spread within the area, to be determined by the resort owner or keeper as a safe for swimming purposes and in compliance with existing government regulations and our local ordinances and the placing of such buoys. Precautionary measures: in no case shall the resort management allow swimming at the beach front beyond 10 p.m., and appropriate notice shall be posted to inform the resort guests of these regulations. Third is the night swimming at the pool shall be allowed only if there are adequate lifeguards on duties and when the pool premises are sufficiently lighted. For management shall post sufficient and visible signs in strategic areas in the resort or at the beach to warn guests, customers of the presence of the artificial or natural hazards, danger, or occurrences threat. So the prohibited acts and practices is that no pets or animals shall be allowed to bathe, swim along beaches. Likewise, pukot fishing and washing of fish nets shall be strictly prohibited in beach resorts. So resort owners shall prohibit ambulant vendors from peddling their waters within the resort premises in order to provide their guests a certain degree of privacy to enable them to relax and enjoy their stay. The littering in littering in resort shall be strictly prohibited. Resorts owners shall keep the premises clean and shall adopt their own anti-littering measures. To existing ones, no resort shall without prejudice be established or constructed within a radius of 5 kilometers from any pollution causing factory or plant. We also have the motorist hotel or the motel. Aside from complying with the minimum requirements for the establishment's operation and maintenance of a motel, all motels are required to keep a motel registry book stating the following particulars. We have the full name, the address, the number, date and place of issue of residence certificate class A or driver's license or passport. In addition, the motel management is required to maintain a separate logbook of the plate number of the vehicles or car used for customers or guests coming into or leaving the motels. On the departure of the guest, the motel clerk shall record in the registry book the date and hour of their departure. No motel shall accept for lodging or accommodations any person below 18 years of age, unless accompanied by a parent or guardians. A motorist hotel, also commonly called a motel, is a type of lodging establishment primarily designed for travelers arriving by car, typically located along highways, where each room has direct access to a parking space and where the primary requirement aside the basic accommodation is to maintain a registry book recording detailed information of the guests, including their full name, address, and identification details like driver's license, along with log of the vehicle plate numbers to ensure proper guest registrations and security. We also have the grounds of cancellations of accreditations. Any of the following acts, omissions, or offenses shall constitute sufficient grounds for the cancellations of accreditations. We have making any false declarations or statement, or making use of any such declarations or statement, or any document containing the same, or committing fraud, or any act of misrepresentations for the purpose of obtaining the issuance of accreditations. Failure to comply with or contravene any of the conditions set forth in the certificate of accreditations, failure to meet the standards and requirements for the operations of the establishments, and allowing or permitting the establishments of its facilities to be used for illegal, immoral, or illicit activities, violations of or non-compliance with any of the provisions of the rules promulgated at orders, decisions, and circulars issues by the department and other concerned agencies. We also have the National Building Code of the Philippines. So the National Building Code of the Philippines, or the PD 906 in February 1977, was adopted in the view of the country's accelerating economic and physical development coupled with urbanizations and population growth. So the National Building Code of the Philippines, or the NBCP, contains up-to-date and modern technical knowledge on building design, construction, use, occupancy, and maintenance. So the National Building Code of the Philippines, enacted in 1977 as Presidential Decree 1096, was a response to the Philippine rapid economic growth, urbanizations, and population increase. Recognizing the need for safe and sustainable building practices, the NBCP established a framework of minimum standards and requirements for all buildings and structures. It covers design, construction, use, occupancies, and maintenance, incorporating modern technical knowledge to ensure public safety, health, and welfare. So, the law in Section 104, General Building Requirements, state that all buildings or structures, as well as accessory facilities, thereto shall conform in all respects to the principles of the safe constructions and must be suited to the purpose for which they are designed. Buildings or structures intended to be used for the manufacture and or productions of any kind of articles or product shall observe environmental safeguard. Buildings or structures and all parts thereof, as well as the facilities found therein, shall be maintained in safe sanitary and good working conditions. So the Section 105 site requirements the land or site upon which will be constructed any building or structures or any auxiliary facility thereto shall be sanitary, hygienic, or safe. In the case of sites or buildings intended for use as human habitations or abode, the same shall be at a safe distance as determined by competent authorities from streams or bodies of waters and are sources of air considered to be polluted, from a volcano or volcanic site and or any other building considered to be the potential source of fire explosions. We have here the building permits. So by the law on section 301 building permits, no person, firm or corporations including any agency or instrumentality of the government shall erect, construct, alter, repair, move, convert and demolish and then building or structures or cause of the same to be done with first obtaining a building permit, therefore, from the building official assigned in the place where the subject building is located or the building work is to be done. So from section 302, application for permits, in order to obtain a building permit, the applicant shall file an application thereof in writing and on the prescribed form with the office. They shall provide at least the following informations. Building officials, every application shall provide at least the following informations. So we have here the descriptions of work to be covered by the permit applied for. We have the descriptions and ownership and the lot on which purpose work is to be done as evidenced by the TCT and or copy of the contract or lease over the lot if applicant is not the registered owner. So the use of the occupancy or for which the proposed work is intended, estimated cost of the proposed work to be submitted together with such applications or at least 5 sets of corresponding plans and specifications prepared, signed, and sealed by a duly licensed architect or civil engineer in case of architectural and structural plans, by a registered mechanical engineer in case of mechanical plans, by a registered electrical engineer in case of electrical plans, and by a licensed sanitary engineer or master plumber in case of plumbing or sanitary installations plan. So we have here the general requirements of all buildings by use or occupancy. So for the law, in section 704, locations and property, we have the general, so means no building shall be constructed unless it adjoins or has direct access to a public space, yard, or street on at least one of its sides. We have here the fire resistance of walls. Exterior walls shall have fire resistance and opening protections. So these sections of the building code addresses the placement and safety of buildings. In section 704 requires the all buildings and must be connected to public space, yard, or street on at least one side. This ensures accessibility for emergency vehicles and public access. So for the section 704 focuses on fire safety. It mandates that exterior walls must be fire resistant and have protection for openings like windows and doors. So this helps prevent the spread of fire and improves the safety of the building and surrounding area. So we have here the light and ventilation. So the law on Article 801, general requirements of the light and ventilations. The subject to the provisions of the Civil Code of the Philippines or easement of light and view, and the provisions of this part of the code, every building shall be designed, constructed, and equipped to provide adequate light and ventilations. So we also have all buildings shall face a street or public alley or public private street which has been duly approved. In Article 806, size and dimensions of the rooms. So we have the minimum sizes of rooms and their least horizontal dimensions shall be as follows. First, rooms for humans habitations, 6 square meters, at least dimensions of 2 meters. Kitchen, 3 square meters with the least dimensions of 1.5 meters. Bath and toilet is 1.2 square meters and at least dimensions of 0.9 meter. So for we have the light and ventilations in Article 807, the airspace requirements in determining the size of rooms. So we have the minimum airspace shall be provided as follows. School rooms is 3 cubic meters and 1 square meters of the floor area per persons. For workshop, factories, and offices, we have 12 cubic meters of airspace per persons. Habitable rooms, 14 cubic meter of air space per persons. In Article 808, window openings, every room intended for any use not provided with the artificial ventilation systems or herein specified in this code. shall be provided with a window or windows with a total free area of openings equals to at least 10% of the floor area of the room, and such window shall open directly to a courtyard, a public street or alley, or open water courses. So for the light and ventilations in Article 811 in artificial ventilations, we have here that whenever artificial ventilation is required, the equipment shall be designed and constructed to meet the following minimums requirements in air changes. We have for room safety above grade and use of as bakeries, hotels or restaurant kitchens, laundries other than accessory to dwellings, and boiler room not less than 10 changes of air per hour shall be provided. So for the discussion of the law, light and ventilation refers to an easement of natural light and allowance of circulations of fresh air unobstructed by erections and constructions. The foregoing provisions give the minimum requirements to allow light and ventilations within the building. So we have the sanitation. So the law in section 901, the general requirements subject to the provisions of the book 2 of the Civil Code of the Philippines on property, ownership and its modifications. All buildings thereafter erected, altered, remolded, relocated, or repaired for human habitation shall be provided with adequate potable water supply, plumbing installations and suitable wastewater treatment or disposal system, stormwater drainage, pest vermin control, noise abatement device, and such other measures shall required for the protections and promotions of health of person occupying the premises and other legal. So the general design and construction requirements. So the law section 1001, general requirements building proposed for construction shall comply with all the regulations and specifications herein set forth governing quality, heuristics and properties of materials, methods of designs and constructions, type of occupancy and classifications, all matters relative to the structural design for all buildings and other structures not provided for this chapter shall conform with the provisions of the National Structural Code of the Philippines as adopted and promulgated by the Board of Civil Engineering pursuant to Republic Act Number 544 as amended, otherwise known as the Civil Engineering Law. So we also have the registrations of guests and occupants. So the Civil Code of the Philippines gives provisions for necessary deposits made by travelers in hotels or inns. This implies the need for the registrations of guests and occupants in accommodation establishments. Accordingly, keepers of hotels or inns shall be responsible for the deposit given by the travelers or guests provided notice was given with respect to the effects brought by these guests and that the keepers of hotels and inns have taken the necessary precautions prescribed there regarding their safekeeping. The liability of the hotel keepers extend not only to the effects, loss, or damage in the hotel rooms, but also those loss on annexes or such as garage. And this kind of deposit damage in hotels, the hotel keeper cannot escape liability by posting notices to the effect that he is not liable for the articles brought by the guest. Any stipulations limiting the liability of the hotel keeper shall be void. So we have the National Homestay Program. The National Homestay Program is a program of the Department of the Tourism which provides travelers with comfortable accommodations with Filipino families in areas near tourist attractions. For purpose accreditations by the Department of Tourism, the following are the minimum requirements for the operations and maintenance of the homestay sites. So we have here the homestay sites. There is prevailing peace and order situations in the area. There are existing natural and man-made attractions in the community. The site is easily accessible to tourists and with existing transportation services and road conditions and other basic community infrastructures. So the host community is willing to join the National Homestay Program, and there is a third of commercial accommodation facilities in the area to service tourists. So for the home facilities, we have here the structures are of durable building materials, are in good presentable conditions. So the surroundings are pleasant and helpful. So there shall be at least one adequately furnished guest room to accommodate paying visitors, and the following shall be available extra bed, adequate lighting system, running water, or if not available, adequate supply of water, clean and well-maintained toilet and bathroom facilities, meals at reasonable rates, electric fan, or other means of ventilations. So we have here the waste management under Presidential Decree number 1152, also known as the Environmental Code of the Philippines in June 6, 1977. The dumping of disposals of the solid waste into the sea and any body of water in the Philippines, including the shorelines and river banks, where these wastes are likely to be washed into the water is prohibited, and might be a ground for non-renewal of license separate within the local government unit concerned. In this regard, the preparations and implementations of waste management programs shall be required of all provinces, cities, and municipalities. So the Department of Interior and Local Government shall promulgate the guidelines for the formations and establishments of the waste management program. So we have here the security and the safety. From the DOT Memorandum Circular Number 2006-209 Series of 2006 in August 23, 2006 constitutes the adoptions of safety and security measures in hotels, resorts, and other similar accommodation establishments. This is in the line with the department's thrust of ensuring the safe, convenience, enjoyable stay and travel of both local and foreign tourists, as mandated by the Executive Order 120. Accordingly, failure to comply with such memorandum circular shall be a ground for the review of the conditions of the accommodations establishments concerned. We have also here it is not wisdom but authority that makes a law by Thomas Hobbes. So by Thomas Hobbes, a philosopher known for his views on the government, argued that laws are not based on wisdom but on authority. So he believes that a law is only valid because it enforced by a powerful sovereign, not because it's inherently wise or just. So in conclusions, the laws regulating accommodation establishments likely focuses on setting standards and guidelines for businesses like hotels, resorts, motels, and bed and breakfast. It probably covers things such as getting proper licenses, meeting safety and health requirements, ensuring health cleanliness, and being transparent with pricing. So the chapter would also outline the rights and the responsibilities of both the business owners and their guests. The main purpose of these regulations is to make sure customers are safe, comfortable, and treated fairly while also promoting good business practices. Ultimately, these laws aims to protect consumers and ensure accommodation providers offer high quality services. So, I think that's all for my report. Thank you and God bless us all.